Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. In the far reaches of the galaxy, where civilizations teeter on the edge of technological ascension or decay, the inhabitants of Earth had always been a source of curiosity. To the advanced races, humanity seemed like an oddity, a species too young to command attention. Yet it was undeniable that humans were not only surviving in a universe teeming with ancient and powerful species, but actually thriving. This strange resilience perplexed the aliens that came into contact with them. For countless millennia, the galactic community had observed a consistent pattern among their many races. When a species faced defeat, whether in battle, in diplomacy, or in their quest for survival, they would falter, retreat into themselves, or even wither into extinction. Some races had evolved in environments that were perfectly suited for their strengths, and yet, even the smallest setback could cause a fatal chain reaction that led to their downfall. But the humans were different. The aliens could never quite figure out what made humans so capable of bouncing back from defeat. Time and time again, they witnessed Earth's inhabitants face seemingly insurmountable odds, only for them to not only survive, but come out stronger and more determined than before. In their first few encounters with humanity, the alien races had underestimated the sheer willpower that lay behind the human spirit. Their first observations were of human society in its infancy, struggling with war, famine, and the brutal forces of nature. However, there was always a strange flicker of hope that shone through the darkness. Even when faced with extinction, humans would band together, learn, adapt, and grow. It was an endless cycle that baffled every alien civilization that dared to look closely. The humans' history was littered with such defeats. There were moments when entire nations had fallen, cities reduced to rubble, and civilizations nearly obliterated. Yet, each time, humanity found a way to rise from the ashes. The aliens watched in awe as Earthlings, no matter the size of the obstacle, seemed to instinctively adapt. Wars that decimated entire continents would somehow lead to innovations that changed the course of their history. After each conflict, the human race emerged with new insights into cooperation, technology, and philosophy, often making quantum leaps in knowledge. While most species would see their morale shattered, humans seemed to emerge from defeat with even more intensity and resolve. This persistence was perhaps best illustrated during humanity's most violent and destructive wars, the two world wars that scarred the planet. To any onlooker, it seemed that Earth was on the brink of annihilation, caught in a cycle of endless death and destruction. No one would have blamed the human race if they had lost their will to continue. But instead of surrendering to despair, humanity learned. The horrors of the war, while devastating, gave rise to technologies and ideologies that reshaped the future. The world was never the same, but in the aftermath, Earth began to rebuild with an unprecedented sense of unity, paving the way for the establishment of international organizations that helped maintain peace for decades to come. The alien races who studied humanity often found themselves in disbelief. They had witnessed species on the brink of collapse due to far lesser challenges. When a starved, battered civilization faced a minor setback, they would fall into disarray, collapsing into petty infighting or just fading away. Humanity, however, seemed incapable of staying down. If they were defeated in one battle, they would wage another. If they lost in one realm of existence, they would dive into another, never willing to accept finality. What made humanity unique in this regard? The aliens began to hypothesize that it was not just individual strength, but an inherent communal drive that fueled humanity's resilience. Humans, they realized, were not lone wolves, as they had initially assumed. They were pack animals. The bonds of family, friendship, and society bound them together in ways that most alien species could not understand. These emotional ties were not just beneficial, they were essential. When everything else failed, humans turned to each other for support and strength. Where a species might crumble under isolation, humans formed networks of solidarity, providing the mental and emotional fortitude to keep moving forward. The simplest of human interactions, a helping hand, a shoulder to lean on, became weapons in their arsenal. That emotional bond, that sense of community, was something the aliens had long since forgotten or never experienced. One of the most curious aspects of human resilience was the way they celebrated failure. To the aliens, failure was a mark of shame, something to be hidden and forgotten. In many civilizations, those who failed were discarded or punished, serving as examples to others who might dare to falter. On Earth, however, failure was not the end but a beginning. Humans had an incredible ability to learn from their mistakes. They had entire industries dedicated to exploring failure, whether in scientific research, business, or personal growth. Instead of shame, there was a cultural respect for those who dared to fail and tried again. The alien races found this notion deeply unsettling. How could a species thrive by embracing failure instead of avoiding it? In the wake of defeat, humans often found a renewed sense of purpose. Their ability to rebuild after tragedy was unmatched. Alien civilizations watched as humans pulled together after global crises, whether it was a natural disaster or a war that left much of their world in ruins. In the face of overwhelming loss, humans did not retreat into themselves, but, paradoxically, came out with greater strength. When faced with a challenge, humanity seemed to find new ways to confront it, as if the very nature of adversity brought out their creativity and determination. When confronted with the unknown or the impossible, humans did not run away, they met it head-on. This remarkable trait of human resilience was particularly evident in their spacefaring age. When humans first launched their missions into space, the aliens watched with skepticism. How could such a fragile and relatively young species survive in the harsh vacuum of space? Yet, over time, humanity's space programs flourished. Despite the failures, the challenges of interstellar travel, and the overwhelming complexity of the task, humanity pressed on. They built colonies on distant planets, launched probes to the farthest corners of their solar system, and boldly ventured into territories that other species would have deemed too dangerous to approach. Even when their colonies were attacked or their technology stolen, humanity's determination only grew. The aliens were baffled by the sheer audacity of humans to fight on against all odds. They did not retreat in fear, but rather advanced, adapting their technologies and strategies. When their enemies unleashed new weapons or threats, humanity did not fold under the pressure. They responded with innovation. The more they were pressed, the more they pushed back. It was this relentless spirit that had caught the attention of galactic leaders. The galactic community had grown accustomed to civilizations that understood their place in the universe. Most species took solace in their advantages, whether it was in their technological prowess, their superior physiology, or their long-established history. But humans were different. They had no ancient lineage of power or wisdom. Their technologies were often crude compared to the advanced empires that surrounded them, and their political systems, although varied, lacked the unity and cohesion seen in older civilizations. Yet, humans persisted. What they lacked in knowledge or power, they made up for with sheer willpower. They did not back down in the face of defeat. Instead, they learned, adapted, and grew stronger. This ability to bounce back from defeat was not without its cost. The aliens knew that the human race had suffered deeply from their cycles of struggle and triumph. The scars left by their wars and conflicts were permanent, etched into the history and psyche of every human alive. Yet, this suffering seemed to fuel them. It gave them purpose. Where other races might have lost their will after countless setbacks, humanity found new ways to push forward. It wasn't just their capacity for physical survival that amazed the alien species. It was the depth of their emotional resilience. They had witnessed entire civilizations break down emotionally after one failure too many. But humans? No matter how deep the wound, they found ways to heal. Their art, music, and literature reflected the profound depths of their struggles. Yet these forms of expression were not just about mourning loss. They were about forging forward, about finding hope and strength in the face of adversity. The aliens began to understand that it was not just an individual's will that allowed humanity to persevere, but their collective strength. They had discovered the power of unity in a way that most of the galaxy had forgotten. Where many advanced species relied on their intellect or military might, humans relied on each other. They could inspire each other to greatness, to rise above their circumstances. And if one individual failed, the others were there to help them back on their feet. The lesson for the galactic community was clear. There was something uniquely powerful about the human spirit, something that transcended their primitive beginnings and spoke to the core of what it meant to exist in a vast and uncaring universe. To defeat humanity was not to crush them into submission, for they would simply rise again. The true way to defeat humanity, the aliens concluded, was not by overpowering them, but by breaking the one thing that allowed them to stand, their collective spirit. And even then, they would never stop fighting. For the true nature of humanity was not just to survive, but to conquer, to push forward no matter the odds. The aliens, in their infinite wisdom, had finally begun to understand what made humanity so special, their ability to bounce back. It was not a fluke, nor was it a simple trait. It was an unyielding force that could never be extinguished, and it was something the galaxy would never be able to ignore again.